Good afternoon everyone and welcome to 9yrsTV, live from Plough Lane ahead of AS Women vs Cambridge United in League One. I am Nick Draper. I will shortly be joined amongst others by Aaron Pressley and Ray Armfield, but we've got no time to spare today this afternoon ahead of team news at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to send you straight into an interview with Alex Woodyard, conducted by Stuart Deakins and George Jones at the training ground yesterday. Enjoy.
He's vegan, isn't he? He's got something a bit wacky going on.
And we're joined by Alex Woodyard on a lovely sunny evening at the training ground. Just been sort of seeing you training out there. It looks quite enjoyable today. Yeah, it's enjoyable every day. Lads always come in with a smile on their faces, always willing to listen, learn, trying to improve. And today, it was a very vibrant session leading into tomorrow's game. We can go live on there. In terms of, it's for a Friday session, it was quite light-hearted, wasn't it? In terms of, how did you get on with the game where you have to the bingo game? Because that was quite enjoyable, wasn't it? How did you get on? The boys have done it quite a few times. I haven't done it as much as the others because with my injury I had. It's a great game. It's competitive. You've got to score goals, all different kind of goals. The boys enjoy it. It's a great session to do on a Friday, leading into a Saturday because it's vibrant. There's a lot of energy to it. Yeah. It's fun. It's a really good session. I really enjoy it. I think the boys enjoy it as well. Because it's interesting. Because obviously, if you come in not knowing obviously the run we've had, you wouldn't necessarily associate with the training session. But it was really positive. Is it in this sort of like running now for the last 8 games? Is it really important now to do the hard work, but also try and take some of that pressure off in terms of keeping it as happy as you can be? Yeah, you have to. You have to be. Is obviously. I've been in dressing rooms before where it's not going to plan, like what's happening with us at the minute, and it's been very doom and gloom, and it's really hard to kind of get yourself going because it's like you walk in, everyone's heads down, no one says morning. But with us, it's we're not proud or not happy with the run we're on, but day to day still really good. Everyone's joining the sessions. People coming to training, not just getting in their cars and flying home. Yeah. Like what I've experienced before. They're staying around, enjoying it. Like you said, it's even nicer with the sun out as well. So no, it's good. We just got to put things right, and we're really working hard. And most important thing as well, you have to believe. You have to believe you can get yourself going and believe you can get yourself out of ruts. And that's the most important thing. The belief's there. As soon as you've lost that belief, then you're in a sticky situation. But that's not the case with us. And it's 8 games to go, and you just got to win games. Yeah.
You mentioned that it's 8 games to go. 48 games gone so far this year. At this stage of the season, is fatigue starting to get in, either physical or mental, or are we all still fresh?
I believe we're all still fresh. I think we've got a young, youthful squad, and that is a benefit. I think we've rotated quite a few players, so a lot of boys are fresh. So I don't think that's an issue. I think our sports scientists side, they look after us. They give us. They know when to go hard. They know when to bring the sessions down. So I don't think that's a case we have to worry about, to be honest.
Now, with 8 games, I think it's been referenced to that we've got 8 cup finals between now and the end of the season. Is it something that we've got results now starting to become more important and performances lesser, or is it still always that same setting those high standards like we've done all season?
Of course, results for me personally, I think are more important now. But like you said, there is 8 games to go, and there's a lot of football to be played. So it's no good just trying to nick a couple of wins and the performances, because you soon will get found out. But it is very important we get the wins on the board starting tomorrow. And of course, if you can get the balance of good performances and wins, that will take you over a period of games, and you will be more successful. But for sure, no, I think results are the most important thing at this time.
So Saturday for 80 minutes we were
doing okay in terms of performance-wise. Is that something? Obviously, the last 10 minutes when we let you go, but in terms of the 80 minutes, was that what we want to keep producing? Because it's natural, isn't it? If you've not won for 20 games, that trying to close the games out is going to be the challenge for anybody, isn't it? So is that giving you a bit of confidence? The 80 minutes, we played very well against a good Cheltenham team.
I don't want to say we played very well. I'd say it was an okay performance. We've done enough, certainly done enough in the game, and that's the most important on the day. I don't believe there's many League One teams who are really playing at the peak of their potentials week in, week out. We just have to see that game through on the pitch. That's the top and bottom of it, and we will take positives from it. But the most important positive we can take from it is what we've learned in the last 10 minutes of that game, and how we can see the game out better on the pitch. So that's a positive, and we'll take that into Saturday.
Definitely. So 5 of the games, 8 games to go, 5 of them at home.
Yep.
Which is always a benefit on that. It's been challenging, I think, all around, isn't it, in terms of players and fans trying to keep themselves on that side. But what can the fans do for us in this running? Because it really is important now. 8 Cup finals, it's like literally 90 minutes of.
Yeah, I'd actually think boys really enjoy playing at home. I actually think the fans at home are good. They're positive. They get going. For the last 8 games, I'd love it to be like a bit of a.
Everybody! Sorry, mate. Sorry. No, sorry, lad. Sorry.
Just really, you kind of see like a American football. How everyone just comes together.
Yeah.
It's like a day out. Everyone's there just to enjoy it, and we've got some great facilities, pub, all the nice food. So just come and enjoy the game and really get behind the team. That's the most important thing. And a lot of players say that they are very important, but in our last 8 games, they could really get us through this.
And just quickly, sorry George, obviously the 5 home games means no travelling. Is that really important in terms of home surroundings, ground, that sort of side? You don't be travelling too much.
No,
really.
I think, me personally, I much prefer playing at home. I enjoy it. I enjoy getting up in the morning and driving to the stadium. I think the boys do as well, so that's great. To be fair, I didn't really know that, to be honest. I don't pay much attention. Next game's the most important game, and so that's very that will really work in our favour that we've got 5 games to go, 5 home games, so that's a positive too. Like I said, we know we've all been football fans. We know the fans are eager for us to win, and the run is not good enough. But there's 8 games to go now, so we need to stick together. The fans just need to do as much as they can to get us through this period. And when we're safe at the end of the year, then we can sit down in front of the fans, and then we can go over the season where it went wrong on the positives, and then build on it next year. So, but for the last 8 games, it's important that we all stick together, because they want to see us in League One.
Yeah.
So they need to do as much as they can, and then we'll do everything we can on the pitch to keep the club in League One.
Now, one of the things we like to do in these interviews is give fans a bit of an insight into who our players are as people. So these are the sort of questions that will just be sort of more about your sort of day-to-day routine when we're here at the training ground. Darius Charles up there, obviously we need to keep a watchful eye on. So just on training days, are you sort of the person, when that first alarm goes, you up and at 'em, or are you the person who's second and third alarm before you get up and going in the morning?
No, as soon as my alarm goes, 6:30 every morning, I get up. I like to get up. I go to bed early. I'm up as soon as the alarm goes off. I don't even really get up to my alarm anymore, to be honest. I find my alarm. I'm normally up in the shower, and then your alarm goes off. That's the most annoying thing. So I'm up and ready to take the day.
So you've got a bit of a journey. You're obviously you're one of the further ones away. What do you do on the way in? Podcast, music? What?
There's a few of us who travel together. Me, Shay, Marshy, and Aaron, and we meet at Dartford and drive in together. It's a good laugh, to be honest.
So just chat rather than anything.
chat. Normally, someone's getting battered on the way in. 3v1 most times. So it's good. It's a good laugh.
Now, one of the things that we always ask is if you were doing sort of a quiz show in terms of your teammates, who would you want on there? So, if you were on, who wants to be a millionaire? Who would be your phone a friend in the current squad?
Who's intelligent enough, do you reckon, across the board?
I'll probably go Ben Penners.
If you were doing Come Dine With Me in terms of a cooking thing of that, who would be the 3 people that you would quite be interested to see what cuisine and that they could produce in the squad?
Darius.
Yeah.
He's vegan, isn't he? He's got something a bit wacky going on. Jeff, the kit man. He makes a banging jerk chicken. Brings it in for the lads.
Superb.
Who else? I'd go Del, our new signing, French.
Okay.
So see what he would bring to the party.
What would your cuisine be if you were going to do it? Have you got a speciality?
I don't cook. My missus cooks. But if I had to, I'd probably just get a takeaway from a Japanese restaurant in London.
Superb. And finally, we're going to do 9 quick fire questions.
Yep.
First thing comes into your head. I've not seen his, by the way. So, and he's given me a great one already. Elstree or Boreham Wood?
Elstree.
Should cartoon meerkats be banned?
Sorry?
Should cartoon meerkats be banned?
No.
Should light shows before football matches be banned?
Yes.
Would there ever be a man born who can swim faster than a shark?
Yes.
VAR, yes or no?
Yes.
And how much would a woodchucker chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Centimetre.
And finally, bag first or milk first with a cup of tea?
Bag first.
Superb. Thank you very much for joining us, and good luck.
guys.
Good luck for Saturday.
See you, mate.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. That was Alex Woodyard down at the training ground yesterday, just discussing how the squad are, how the season's going, ahead of this afternoon's game with Cambridge United. So, I am Nick Draper. I am joined, as you can see, to my right by Aaron Presley, who's going to be joining us for about 10-15 minutes, just prior to kick-off. To my left, Rob Boyce, and to my far right, George Jones. But before we get into any discussions with the panel, we're going to cut straight to George and Rob TV, who has got today's team news.
Joined now by Rob TV, and Rob, I believe you've got the team news for us.
Yeah, in goal today is Nick Zanev, a back 3 today of Will Nightingale, Ben Hennigan and Lee Brown. Wing backs today will be Paul Sue and Henry Lawrence. In midfield we'll have Anthony Hartigan, Alex Woodyard and Jack Rodoni. And up front we'll have Sam Cosgrove and Derek Osoy. I think I've said that right. And subs today will be Nathan Broom, Dapo Mabude, Aya Basal, Paul Callambai, Ethan Chislett, George Marsh and Nesta Guinness-Walker.
I think obviously the big talking point, home debut for Derek there up top alongside Cosy, is that how much can we expect from Derek between now and the end of the season?
Derek obviously, when he's come in, we've done a lot of 11v11 this week, and him and Sam have struck up a good partnership in training, and that's something that we're excited to see today. He's a good finisher, he's got pace to try and get him behind, so we're excited to see what he could potentially bring today.
And obviously Aya Basal on the bench, fresh from returning from England under 20s. How great has it been to have him back in the camp for the last couple of days?
Yeah, obviously it's a great experience for Aya and that, so he's come back in and done well. Obviously just a slight change of shape today, so we just want to change the personnel, and again we've got good players within the squad, so we know that anyone coming in can fill his boots as well, and he'll be on the bench raring to go if needed.
Rob TV, thank you.
Cheers.
So they have it, looks like a 3-5-2 this afternoon with Henry Lawrence and Paul Osu at wing-back, and Derek Ossiol and Sam Cosgrove up top. Aaron, not to put you on the spot, but the first question. So this season, Aaron, you've played both as a lone striker and as a 2. What are the differences in those roles? Are there differences in what's expected of you? Do you find one easier than the other?
I think for me, it depends who you're playing with, obviously, but I think like the situation when it was me and Ollie, I think it's tough. Like, you need to work that partnership because we're two bigger strikers and similar, so you sort of need to get the right dynamic and work that together. But I guess as a front two with one who runs in behind and one who comes to feet and wins headers, I guess that's your job similar in the sense of you're there to hold up the play, win headers, the same as you would be as a lone striker. So I think it depends how they play it today. I think the new strikers at Derek Asu, he's more of a runner in behind, I think, and I think that'll probably complement Cozzy, because he's more of that big striker focal point, and I think that'll complement him.
Do you get much time on the training ground when you work as strikers and pairs? Do you get much time to sort of prepare on the training ground, or is it more other things that you work on in the week? Is it things like you're saying there? Is it things like I don't know, even just shooting training or hold the ball back to goal sort of stuff, or do you actually work on the relationship?
Yeah, I think we do a lot of shape and we do a lot of drills that incorporate that sort of play, the striker play. If they're playing a front two, they'll play the front two up together in training to get that partnership building. I think a lot of finishing work and a lot of drills where you naturally get that rhythm as a team, and I think that's a good thing.
George, we've gone from 3-5-2 today. It's something that we have seen fairly regularly over the last few weeks in different stages. We've swapped to it during games. What do you think the intention is? When you play with a 3-5-2, I guess the intention is to really make the most of your two wide players, which looks like it. I think we're going for Paul Osu and Henry Lawrence today.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The wide players are key, especially in a 3-5-2, because all your width does come through them, and especially when you've got Cozzy and Derek up top, they're going to be, neither of them are small. I think that's fair to say. So getting those balls in the middle is going to be key today, and also from set pieces with both Anthony and Brownlee starting set pieces. We've got 5 options in the middle today, and I think that's the first time in a while we've been able to have a bit of height up top and 2 recognised strikers, rather than having to play maybe a winger or someone a bit out of position to partner a front man.
Cool. I'm just thinking, listening to George there, Rob, I'm thinking, and looking at the lineup, I'm seeing Jack Madoni is starting. Is there an argument that it's more of a 3-4-3? Is really going to be sort of pushed maybe just in that space behind the front two?
Yeah, I was thinking that it might be him just in a number 10 role behind the front two. Obviously we'll have to wait and see when we kick off, but I would like to see Jack Madoni more through the middle. I think he's been one of our best players of the season. Obviously he's got 9 goals now, and I think he's one of our main players, so I'd like to see him get on the ball a lot, especially with Luke McCormack being out. We're going to need somebody to pick up the ball in between the lines, so I think Jack Madoni is the man to do that.
And then the other one interests me, Lee Brown, as George mentioned, looks like he's going to be part of a back 3. Aaron, Lee's come in, he's been a real positive influence on the squad from all accounts.
Yeah, for sure. I think he brings really good experience to the squad. I think that's maybe what the gaffer thinks the squad needs, and I think he's brought great leadership qualities to the team, and good performances. I think since he's came, he's been steady and put in some really good performances, and he leads on the pitch and off the pitch, which is, I suppose, a good thing for this young team.
Cool. So Stu's there on the screen. We've got a bit of data for Alex Woodyard's season so far. So just prior to us coming live, played the interview with Alex at the training ground on Friday, and it's still only on 4 yellow cards. George, is that right? Is that all?
Well, I mean, the person behind the camera, Stuart Deacon, I'm sure say that's not correct in any way, shape or form, but it is. Woody doesn't get many yellows, despite what some people say.
He just has that. Doesn't he just have that aura of someone who you just think he's always getting booked? Why do I have this? Because he's all round action, isn't he? And he's all making tackles all the time.
Yeah, he covers every inch of grass. But you know what? I think Stu's put him ahead for he gets a lot more yellows than he actually does. I think he's planted the seed in my head. So we'll blame Stu on that one. I think last season he picked up more yellows, but obviously we were 10. But we were behind closed doors, so maybe the ref could hear him a lot more without no crowd. Some of his verbals towards the ref when he didn't agree with a decision or two, maybe.
I'm just noticing there he was born in Gravesend, which is now known as Ebbsfleet, of course. But anyway, Aaron, Woody as a captain, it seems like all the players have enjoyed having him sort of being in charge on the pitch.
Yeah, for sure.
Experienced, 28 years old, he's got lots of experience of being in League One, perhaps the bottom end of League One as well, so he knows what this situation's about. I'm guessing his experience is invaluable for us at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I think since he's come back into the team after his injury, he's been really good and helped the team a lot in that position. I think he's very consistent in his performances, and that's one thing a captain has to be. He has to lead on the pitch as well, and I think he does that. I think I think he leads the team really well. I think his work rate's very good, and I think he's really good for the lads, and the lads all love him.
Just talk about your situation then, just touching it very briefly. Unfortunately, we know that in terms of being on the pitch this season, that's it for you now. Just for those who are not unaware, is it an injury picked up? Was it against Sunderland? You picked up a knock? Is that the one?
Doncaster,
sorry, yes.
Doncaster. Last minute as well, so a bit frustrating, but
very frustrating. I can imagine. Yeah. So what's the situation? But you're still staying with us. You said you're going to be with us until the end of the season anyway. Sort of coming to games, watching from the sidelines. Are you down at the training ground? As well, or is that?
For now, I'm training back at Brentford.
Okay.
They want to take charge of my rehab, so I'm back there doing my rehab, and then obviously coming down here, watching all the games, getting in to see the boys in the dressing room and the staff. So I'll be supporting the boys till the end of the season. I love my time here, so I think that's the least I can do.
Well, my niece, for one, is going to be very happy that you're still around for match days. Now, you might know this, but my niece works in hospitality, and she has christened you Potato Man.
Potato Man?
Potato Man.
Yeah. I asked for more potatoes a couple of times as well, I think.
A big fan of the food down in...
free food, I guess. You've got to be a fan, I guess, don't you?
Is it a cliche to say that the potatoes are not deep fried here?
I'm not sure. I don't really know. Anything will do down there,
In terms of today's game, the streets there on the bottom of the screen has put our form at the moment. We won't talk too much about that. But George, Cambridge, what sort of things are we expecting from them? So we've talked about the width we want to get from a 3-5-2. Is that because we're looking to really take the game to them? Are they a team that similarly have had a bad run of results at present? We want to sort of be on the front foot and get at them, creating problems straight away?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Cambridge are not in the best of run of form of themselves. In the away game, they were quite narrow, but we struggled to get going. We never really got out of first gear, I think it's fair to say that day. We did struggle. So I think they're hoping that with the emphasis on the front two, having a bit of physicality up top, we can almost try and beat them at their own game. And it's definitely a winnable game today, as much as they all have been. But I think today's a game where the Cambridge side out of form, if we play to our strengths, it's definitely winnable.
Well, what are you expecting from Cambridge? They are, as we said, they themselves 5 without the win. You think they'd be comfortable now, 45 points. You think that should be them safe.
Yeah.
So they do come to us as a little bit of a side that perhaps are looking just to now get the season over with and concentrate on next year. So a very winnable game for us.
Definitely. If you could pick any fixture, Cambridge would be one of the top 5 picks in my opinion in this league. You'd want to play with our run of form, obviously their run of form as well. Both teams have academy managers which have been promoted to first team managers, so it should be an interesting battle out there today. Hopefully we come out on top with the 3 points.
We shall see. So Aaron, I guess you're now... Oh, there we go. We've got today's other games in League One. So there's not a great deal of football on today. International weekend, so nothing in the Premier League, nothing Championship, and a number of League One games postponed. So we've only got half a dozen games in the division today. We will obviously be keeping our eyes on Doncaster and Gillingham. So Accrington are hosting Gillingham. Difficult place for Gillingham to go. Doncaster, who we think might be too late for them to mount a charge, but they have a game at home to Charlton. And Charlton, who still need to pick up a couple of wins just to be safe and get themselves away from danger before they come here in a couple of weeks' time. So it'll be interesting to see if they can be still kept in the mix and make our game with them even more important. But Aaron, I think you're going to have to depart now, so you're going to go down. Are you heading down to?
I'll head down now. Yeah,
cool. Nice. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Great to have you.
But enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best for the recovery.
Maybe be back next week, eh?
We would gladly have you back on. And just as Aaron switches out there, that's the run-in for at the bottom of the league, Rob. All the fixtures for the teams down the bottom. And I think really, as we see, we went into the bottom 4 last week following the defeat to Cheltenham. And I just look at it and think, as bad as the run we've been on, 19 games without a win in the league, you have to say that early season form has really helped us, because you could argue with the early season form, we should be comfortably safe in mid-table as a Cambridge are now.
Yep.
But if we hadn't have had that, we'd have been in huge danger. I think.
If it wasn't for our early mid-season form, we'd be where Crewe is right now, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's a good. I haven't checked everyone else's run-ins, but with our 5 home games and obviously game in hand, it does give us a bit of a benefit with, you know, the run-in. It's in our own hands.
It is in our own hands, and it starts today. Also useful, perhaps, that today's not a game in hand.
Hello.
Because Gillingham are also
Right,
playing,
right.
so, and Morecambe as well. Morecambe,
Right.
Burton at home next, but not today. Doncaster, sorry, are the other ones in action today. They're at home to Charlton. Right, we have now been joined, so thanks to Aaron Presley and George for the time being. We've now been joined, to my far right, by Ray Armfield, a face I'm sure is familiar to many of you, and also by our visiting Cambridge United fan here this afternoon. Now, have I got it right, Anushka?
That's right.
That is right. Hello, Anushka. Welcome to 9yrsTV. Welcome to Plough Lane. Obviously, your first visit to here. Very much looking forward to it. Can you give us a little rundown of how your season has been in the league? Do you look at your position now with 8 games to go, 45 points? Do you consider yourselves safe?
I think we're pretty much safe, but I think another 3 points is probably needed over the rest of the season. But we've got a pretty tough run in,
Right.
so we're hoping to get them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, as you can see, you win this in 5 and the results on the bottom there, but I mean, that's a hard run of games. Obviously, Buckinghamshire team beat you last week. Sheffield Wednesday, perhaps a heavy defeat, but against a team that are improving all the time. Wycombe, Oxford and Shrewsbury, who are improving, have got some good wins to get themselves out of trouble recently as well. So it's been a hard run. You talk about looking for maybe perhaps 1 more 3 points. Be honest with us. Do you look at us and our current form in the bottom 4 as a game you should be winning?
I think we would want to be getting something out of this game. I would say at least a draw today. But as you can see, we haven't scored in 4 games. I'm not quite sure what's happened up front recently. The last game against Milton Keynes. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
The other word on top of that, no, not so much.
We should have got something from. I think we were really unlucky. I think they only had 2 chances all game, and we had a lot more. But yeah, Sheffield Wednesday was a disaster of a game. We went to that one.
Okay.
It wasn't pleasant.
No, I can imagine.
But then we lost to Oxford 4-2, but that wasn't reflective of the game. We actually played really well in that game. So yeah, I think we've probably overachieved this season than what we would think. You know, we've just come up, some big grounds to go to, big pitches. I think we've adapted pretty well, really.
It's a big division, big teams in this division now. It's a big step up from League 2 now, isn't it? With all the big former Premier League clubs in this division at the moment. You talk about lack of goals. Unfortunately, law of averages in my head means that you're due to score today if you've gone 4 without scoring. Joe Ironside, he's been your main man this season, hasn't he? Have I got this right? Did he score the winner up at Newcastle in the Cup?
He did, he did. I mean, that was a very special day.
I can imagine.
Very unexpected as well.
There you go.
Joe's played really well. He was kind of, last season we had Paul Mullin who scored 30-something goals, and Joe was kind of alongside him, but kind of a bit in the shadow, but still played really well. But yeah, he's been solid for us this season. Really good player.
Ray, what are your thoughts on Cambridge today? I mean, I know we are looking at Joe Ironside there, but and we've picked him out as a main threat, but they've got some other experience in the side. I think Wes Houlihan was a name that obviously will scream out to most people who's on the bench today, but they've got some good. They have got some good attacking players that are going to cause us problems.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's me that does the feature in the Matchday programme on the visiting team, so I've looked at their squad reasonably closely, and I did pick out Wes Houlihan as the player to watch. I mean, I know he's pushing 40 now, but I think he's not called the Wessie for nothing, is he? He's always been a very good player, and we've seen from people like Barry Bannon at Sheffield Wednesday, when you drop a league, it doesn't mean you drop a league in terms of talent. You've still got it, and even at the veteran stage of his career, he's still got it. So I think if he comes on, we'll need to watch him.
I mean, when you've looked at the side, what are your anticipations for how they line up? How are we looking at it? Is Ironside a 1 up top on his own? So you go 2 up top?
Tactics-wise, I've not really looked at them. I've just really looked as to what they've done on the season as a whole, and perhaps 1 or 2 players to pick out to watch. And Ironside would have been the other one, obviously, because he's catching the eye. I think in terms of results, we obviously need a win massively. But then again, we've had a lot of six-point games over the season, and I think whilst we've not only won one of them, we've not lost one yet. So if If that sounds like a bit of straw clutching, then yes, it's straw clutching.
we will take it. We will take it. So, Nishka, we've got lots of stats and things. This is our head-to-head record, and it's very even. And obviously, earlier in the season, you beat us 1-0 at your place. We've not won in 10 at home, but you've not won in the last 7 away games. Stu is behind the camera today. Stu, why is it every time we do these things, all the stats tell me that it's going to be a draw? Whatever happens, everything. Well, yes, this is true. Cambridge not lost to anyone in the current bottom 4 this season. Yeah, there's always first time for everything. Yeah, they're absolutely in. But this
you come on now,
in the relegation, but this is the first time we've dropped in there, so you never know. Just 23 league goals this season. Is that really true? Is that all? That can't be right, surely. Maybe away from home. Yeah. So 23 goals, you'd be doing fantastically well. Your defensive record must be incredible.
I do have to say, we're very generous when someone's got a really poor run of form of letting you break that, so watch this space.
Well, we hope so, because we desperately need it. We actually saw a little while ago as well, our previous little games with you, obviously we lost 1-0, as we said, earlier in the season. The last time I remember watching Cambridge come down to play was in League 2. Was that the 2-1 with Tom Elliott? I think put us 1-0 up, and then you turn it round. The season where I think a lot was expected of you. Yeah, did you go down to Kings Meadow at all?
I did go there once.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
That was enough.
That was never again.
Yeah. That's a white fan, maybe. Yeah.
I did go once. Yeah, I didn't go to the old Plough Lane, but went to Kings Meadow.
Dare I ask, did you actually get to see much of the game?
A little bit. It was a little bit cramped in there from what I remember.
But as you can see, the away end is right behind us at the far end, so that's your view this afternoon. So I can promise you it's a much better view than you're going to get.
Definitely.
Yes, and we're very, very generous to our away fans this year, unfortunately. So talk us through the FA Cup then, because I don't want to have to reference it, but I am paid to mention Luton Town in every single broadcast we do, and obviously Luton were unfortunately the team that knocked you out in the 4th round, but you had the day out at Newcastle. I mean, just explain to us what that day was like for you. That must be, considering we consider you're safe in the league now, that was surely what you're really remembering from this season.
It was an outstanding day. My brother supports Newcastle.
Right.
So when the draw come out, there was like, oh my god, because I've just watched Newcastle since I was little, going around to watch them whenever they were local. So it was a big one for our family. But I was confident we were going to score first for some reason, but then I assumed that 3 or 4 more might come in the other end. Yeah. But yeah, it was just amazing, like completely unexpected. We played really, really well. We had quite a long time to keep him out, and our goalkeeper had the game of his career that day. I think he got everything saved. He was outstanding. Outstanding
form, and he's also keeping the next player of ours, Will Mannion, who's with you out the team at the moment. So Will on bench I believe. So Rob, we've mentioned Cambridge very quickly just before. Really hard place to go, isn't it? When we went up there, we've always sort of struggled. It's difficult ground to go to.
Yep.
When we go 3 at the back, are we leaving ourselves in problems? Like Ray's mentioned there, that the attacking players have got Ironside's a big threat. Are we vulnerable, especially if we're going to go on the front foot, as we suggested today? Are we vulnerable then on the counter?
Yeah, we are. I don't know how I feel about 3 at the back, to be honest with you. I have, nightmares of when we played it against Boreham Wood, and we got
more FA Cup 3rd round upsets.
Where we got split open. Obviously, I'm hoping Lee Brown being in there with that little bit of extra experience. Obviously, that's not the case today, but yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So we've got your team there. Who else do we need to watch out for, Alishka, today from you?
So Paul Digby, number 4, he's had a really good season. He's very solid, very old school kind of player, midfield. Yeah, he's just very old school. He's done really well. With Smith and Nibs are, sometimes you get the best out of them, sometimes not.
Right,
so you're never quite sure what's going. Wes is obviously on the bench, and if he comes on, I think he'll make a difference. But yeah, we've done well this season. There's been a lot of changes. We've not had a really solid team throughout the season. It's been a lot of chopping and changing.
Okay. We should be looking to exploit today. Smith and Nibs, sorry, it just sounds like a stationery company to me, sorry. That's the name of that. And there's a breakdown of the goals there, so Rage very quickly, as you can see there. So, well, clearly, right, so Stu, hold on, what's going on? So, 23. I'm so confused now, Stu, with the graphic, because 23 goals, but I can't see what's going on.
They're going to 23. Yeah. The interesting thing is 13 goals conceded in the first 15 minutes.
You're right, yeah, in the first 15 minutes.
It felt like all of those against Sheffield Wednesday.
Fair enough. But also, yeah, I mean, as Stu points out there, 13 goals in the first 15, but also 13 in the late stages in that injury time. That's a huge amount of goals at either end of the game. So,
it is, yeah.
How do you got manager in charge there, new manager? How does he set up with the team? Do you try to be on the front foot? Is that what's happening? Is it trying to take games to our position and getting caught? What's happening?
I don't know. I think he tries to keep it not too defensive, like tries to play quite flowing football. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of the lessons been learned has been the big pitches have caught us out quite a lot this season. Okay. And he does. I mean, he's not even played football. He's a young manager, and he seems to get the tactics fairly well. Right. But yeah, it's quite weird looking at those, isn't it? To see what actually happens when it's.
The breakdown, as we said, we had a big problem earlier in the season of conceding in the first 15 minutes after half time, and I think we've addressed that one. But as you can see, you're quite well. No, you can still see it there. It's huge. That's the most common time when we've conceded 15 goals there, and you're pretty decent at scoring around that time. So hopefully we'll have less of that today. But in terms of scoreline, you've got a prediction for today?
I am going 2-1 win.
Okay. We'll take
I'm
that.
afraid.
No. You have to be positive when it's your team, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ray, what are your thoughts?
Do you want my heart or my head?
Both.
My heart says 2, maybe 3-1. We're playing a couple of forwards.
Right.
My head says probably 1-1.
Okay, going for that draw, which the stats again seem to indicate.
Yeah.
Rob, go on.
Yeah, I agree with Ray's head. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay, yeah. Cool. Right, well, we shall see what happens. But Anushka, thank you very much for joining us. You're going to make your way round to the away end now. Enjoy the game.
Thank
Not
you.
too much, obviously. But thank you for taking time to come
good luck
see us.
for the rest of the season.
And yes, absolutely.
Fingers
And for hopefully we'll see each other in League One next season.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if we can see there the players out warming up now prior to kick-off.
In a sunny Plough Lane.
A sunny Plough Lane. Now, quick observation there for me, Rob, is don't sit in the east stand. You've got the sun in your eyes the whole time. You can't see anything. This is why I'm in the west stand, you see. For this sole reason, because I knew that would happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping the fans in the east stand have brought their sunglasses today, otherwise they're not going to see a lot,
Not
are they?
going to see much, which might be a blessing. Ray, where have you got your season to this year?
Mine is in block 105 in the Kappa stand. So
okay. Right on the halfway line?
Comfy chairs. Almost. Yes, I'm happy with that. It's more or less like for like what I used to have. So
of course,
yeah,
yes.
I'm okay with that.
Have to stay a bit higher up than you were at?
A bit, yeah. You have to be, really, don't you?
Well, yes, true. Right, so this is last time at Plough Lane. 2-0 defeat to Lincoln, a game that we were hoping to really take advantage of. And Ray, I didn't actually think, on the whole, we played too badly in this game, but we got undone again. I think Lincoln only actually had 2 shots on target.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
I mean, it's defensive errors, is it not? Individual errors?
Yeah. I thought we started bright. I thought perhaps that was the best game I've seen Mabudi play for a long time, perhaps because we finally started using him where he should be used, and that's as a forward and not a makeshift winger or something.
Yeah.
So I saw lots of promise there, and from Zach's point of view, yes, he maybe missed a couple of chances he might have put away, even perhaps when he was on loan at Hampton.
Yeah.
But I think as an overall first game in League One for him, I thought he did well as well.
Yeah.
And I'm quite pleased that we've got him back, because I think we may need him. Obviously, not today, but certainly later in the season when he could be used as a impact finisher.
Yeah.
As the term goes now.
And absolutely, to see there as well, which I really liked about his chance there, was the fact that we got to throw him. We took it quickly. He was onto it, alert to a situation, and then just missed the finish. Again, great pressing from McCormick, we're definitely going to miss. And as you say here, perhaps on loan he scores that, and perhaps here he's just first league start, big sighted. but a real opportunity.
Yeah.
But Rob, what did you make of Zach's first start a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, there's no complaints from me. He came in quite late, didn't he? Because obviously Sam Cosgrove injured his back, so he probably knew quite late. And really, he should just be hitting the target and burying that. But he probably got a bit excited. It's a shame we didn't test the keeper more in this game, to be honest with you, because I really didn't rate him. I thought he was probably one of the worst keepers I've seen this season.
Yeah.
So it's a shame we didn't test him a bit more. But here we see Lee Brown uses his experience to get a dubious red card. So hopefully we can have a bit more of that today as well. Would be nice.
Yeah, that little bit of nous that we perhaps have missed at times this season. Ray's since had the red card, the ban appealed and overturned.
Yes.
So obviously, but this
rightly so as well.
Rightly so, yes.
Yeah.
Now this really frustrates because that comes from our own throw-in.
Yes.
And I mean, I know people are going to talk about Nick being closed down, but I mean, every time. As I said earlier, with the chance for Zach, we took the throw-in quickly, and one of my main sort of gripes this season has been when we get throw-ins, we're so laboured, and it seems to take about half an hour to get the thing taken. So it's great to see the chance there, but then on that occasion we've gone backwards, got caught out. Do you think that goal happens without the red card? And why I say that is because the red card seemed to galvanise Lincoln. They got really tetchy, which is a word, and they seemed to be that. It gave them a little extra yard, I thought, to be pressing us, closing us down, and that's what happens there. I don't think he presses with that intensity without the red card.
Well, it's odd that event happened because I talked to a Lincoln fan prior to the game, and he said if we've got like an Achilles heel at the back, it's the fact that we overplay and always try and play the ball out. And I thought, oh great, not letting on that we do that as well.
Yeah.
And then of course to concede a goal via that very method, I nearly rang up the following day. I said, I did try and tell you. I thought that second goal was the sort of goal that never goes in our favour. Other teams just don't seem to make those sort of basic errors. But you think we've always got one of those in us somewhere.
Yeah, it reminded me.
That's a bit naivety.
Reminded me a bit of MK away, unfortunately, when Nick said it. Again, kind of, got picked off, and like I said, we don't seem to have them goals go in our favour this season.
No.
So hopefully one's due today potentially.
And then we moved on to Cheltenham last week, and we took the lead in the first half. Ayub, we saw, had a great chance. He just put it wide. Then really got a very similar chance, took it well. I'm not happy really with the celebration. It's too early to be celebrating like that when you've got an 18 without a win. But we seem to be doing fine. And then in the last 10 minutes, capitulation. I mean, that's the only word for it.
Kamikaze defending there with Ben Hennigan diving in. With his experience, you would have thought, obviously Will loses his jewel here. But I think after Will loses out on this battle, they just need to, just hold their positions. Obviously, you see him nick it there, and then Ben dives in, and then before you know it, we're overrun with a 4-on-2, which is frustrating because for 82 minutes I felt like we were in cruise control, and then we seemed to hit the self-destruct button after that. I don't quite know what happened.
Well, the frustration for me was the fact that we saw it against Doncaster when we were 2-0 up, and we were absolutely cruising in that game at that point. And we got caught out. And sometimes it's hard when a game, it was quite easy for us at 2-0 against Doncaster, and sometimes when the team comes back into it, it's difficult to raise your levels again. To not learn from that and then get caught out at Cheltenham, very frustrating. Or am I being harsh?
No, I think you're spot on. I mean, if you take that back a few frames, you'll just see a sea of yellow shirts all facing their own goal, with maybe 2 or 3 Cheltenham forwards, and you think surely that should be reversed. But no, I mean, to be fair, when we were 2 up against Doncaster, I thought, dare I say it, game over. But as soon as they got their first one, I thought, we're not going to win this now. But it shouldn't be the stage that you need 3 or 4 goals just to sit back and be reasonably relaxed. As we saw from the Cheltenham Cup game down here.
Of course.
I mean, nearly threw that away as well.
And actually,
learning lessons. We don't seem to do it, do we?
We're not seem to be. Similar story against Crewe, I think we almost threw that one away, didn't we? And then got caught on the break here with the third goal, Alfie May, who seems to just love scoring against us this season. And he takes it well. And if you're going to celebrate dare I say a silly celebration, do it when you've just put yourself 3-1 up in the last minute, not before then, to get into trouble. Ray, it's been hard this season, hasn't it, to watch since the turn of the year. It wasn't too bad beforehand. We had some good performances, not just the wins against Oxford and then Crewe and Cheltenham in the Cup as well. We had I thought we had good performances against Sheffield Wednesday in there. Gillingham, we should have absolutely hammered that one. But then since turn of the year, you said naivety just a minute ago. Is that what all these this current run, are we pinpointing just moments of inexperience that are costing us?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you can see the way the sort of squad was set up at the start of the season, maybe just to have a squad of experienced players, front, midfield, back, goalkeeper to a reasonable extent, and then you build your younger players around those. But I think where we missed out massively is where 2 or 3 of that experienced spine are missing, and then the cracks really start to show. Should we have done more in January? I think we should really. I know it's never a good time to look, particularly when you're looking for long-term players, because they're just not there. And then you've got the sort of problem of, every player that you look at and you really want, probably 4 or 5 other teams are looking at it also. So why should they come to you to join in a relegation scrap? So I know it's not easy, but I think one of the things that we will look back on when we review the season, come what may, is the quality of loan players and really what we did during the transfer window. I know you can't legislate for what happened to Ollie Palmer. That's a one-off thing, but really, even if Ollie had stayed, I think we should have been looking to strengthen as far as we could within our budget, and I don't think we've used it particularly well over the course of the season.
I think the club news which came out this week kind of addressed that, didn't it? That they acknowledged, the board acknowledged that the budget and probably made mistakes when we reviewed the season, at the end of the season. I think they'll look back on January as a pivotal moment and a pivotal time where we probably made a mistake of letting Ollie Palmer go and not having a replacement lined up, and then it felt like we were scrambling a bit away, on deadline day, which is never a good time to be looking, is it?
No. And Ray, you make a great point there, which I hadn't really thought about. But you're right. In January transfer window does tend to be a bit of a quick fix window where you look for those players that are going to have a short-term impact. Perhaps where you're lacking in certain areas. It's less of a long-term view taken, and that's counter, really, isn't it, to the dare I say, process or plan that we have gone with, as you said, going for that younger players, trying to develop that squad through those means.
So I just thought, if you look at the composition of our forward line, we only really had one big striker, Ollie Palmer, and you think surely January's the time even to get a big tall youngster in, even like another Aaron Presley maybe. I just looked at someone like Keon Etet, who played for Cheltenham. He played for Northampton in League 2 earlier in the season. It was fairly obvious Spurs were looking to place him at a league higher up. Surely we should have been in, or tried to be in for someone like him. Because when I saw him down here playing, I thought, well, he could have fitted in really well here, either with or without Palmer.
I mean, he looks a real quality, real quality player. We did get Sam Cosgrove, and we've also got Derek Ossior, who's come in, and he's starting today. Again, he only got a couple of minutes last week at Cheltenham, fresh from joining, and then he's had a week in training to go. Do you think it will benefit Sam Cosgrove, who's divided opinion so far, but just to have someone up with him, is that going to help share the load on him and the expectation on him?
I'm never really a fan of just one up top, unless you've got 3 or 4 in midfield who are virtually going to play off his pocket, if you like. I don't think we've really been doing that, because I did feel for Palmer and for Sam when they started winning balls and they dropped and there was just nobody there, because it makes them look bad as well, as if to say, I've won this ball and there's nothing coming. So you're going to get cheesed off doing that fairly quickly, I think. But I mean, it's a roll of the dice, really. It's a new pairing in every sense of the word. It may work. Who knows? I mean, from Derek's point of view, if you look at his stats over his recent career, he's not really done much. So it's a massive window for him. Plays well, he might get a deal here or elsewhere maybe. Balls in his court.
Shop window, as you say, for him. Right, so we talked to him very briefly earlier. This is the run-in. It takes a little bit of getting a head round at the moment, especially because not all teams are in action today. So as you said earlier, it's just ourselves, Gillingham and Doncaster who are in action today in that bottom 6. That's it. Is that Shea Alexander's brother? Crew. I'm not sure. So Shea not involved today. So that's the situation. We were saying earlier, Ray, that Rob and I were saying earlier, so we have just fallen into the bottom 4 last week after that defeat at Cheltenham. It was that early season form that has helped us out massively, because the run we've been on without those early wins, what was it, 3 in the first 7?
Yes.
We'd have been in huge trouble. We'd probably have been gone already.
Yeah.
But when you look at the games left, 5 of our last 8 are at home. Cambridge, Charlton, Accrington. Easy to say and perhaps foolish to say given the run we're on, but they are 3 games you think, okay, good chance there of picking up some points. Crewe away similarly, and then Fleetwood away is looking to be an absolute huge, massive penultimate game of the season. But 3 wins from those, I think 40 points. I don't think it's unrealistic to say 40 points might keep you up in the league this year.
I'm not sure there's ever been maybe a team that's got 19 games without a win prior to dropping into the bottom 4 in any league. I mean, unless you get somebody who starts with like 10 wins in a row and then does that, maybe not. But the last few weeks, obviously, I've looked at those fixtures as well, and my only thought was, at least if we could get it to the last day of the season, you'd maybe fancy us looking at some of the other games. Particularly if some of those other opponents still have things to play for, like playoff places or even automatics in the case of Sunderland, maybe. But even if they haven't, they're still hard games, I think. Would you want someone like Accrington with maybe nothing to play for coming here? We could maybe put their 150 fans in the corner and then fill the ground with our lot, whereas if a bigger team was coming down, then it's a different atmosphere in every sense of the word, isn't it?
100%.
So if we can just get it to the last day, dare I say, I would fancy us in the same way as Fleetwood a few years ago. Obviously bigger stakes, but I mean, get me there, and then we'll talk again.
We'll go from there. No, Fleetwood exactly was the game I was thinking in my head when you were talking about that. We knew that we had 2013. We knew that we had Fleetwood at home on the last day, and it looked a nice one to have. And you're looking there exactly as you say, Gillingham, Rotherham at home. You're expecting they'll be going for automatic promotion. Oxford perhaps looking for a playoff place. Sunderland similarly. Some tough games for teams around us in the division. Rob, I guess when you look at our final games, though, you've still got Sheffield Wednesday. That's a really, really hard ask at this time being because they're obviously battling to get in the playoffs at the moment. Milton Keynes, let's just try not to focus on that game too much but they're obviously going up, sadly, for automatic promotion at this current time. Wickham similarly. So there are games. The final two games, Fleetwood and Accrington, they give us hope, do they not?
Yeah, them two give us hope. I think Crewe Alexandra away gives us hope. I thought Crewe, when we played them at home, were one of the worst teams I've seen in this division. So I feel like that's kind of a must-win where we need to target 3 points. I think today we can pick up a point off 3. It's in our hands. We're at home. I don't think Cambridge, aren't in the best of form. They're not one of the best sides in the division. Fleetwood I think is a must not lose. So it's definitely in our hands. 5 games at home. Some of the fixtures in there you definitely want to pick as the last 8. If you could pick some fixtures, you definitely want some of them teams. So it's not the worst running, especially when you compare it to other teams in the division. And like I said, I see some of the other teams. We've got Rotherham, Oxford, Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday towards the end of the season. So as Ray said, let's get to Fleetwood, Accrington in amongst it and see where we go from there.
Ray, you mentioned the point about a team not going 19 games without a win before dropping into the bottom 4. I think obviously we weren't on such a bad run. The only time in my time supporting Wimbledon that we were relegated, which was in 2000, I think we went the last 10 games without a win, and we fell into it. The only other example I can think of someone perhaps falling quite so steady was Norwich many years ago in the Premier League. I think they were top half of the table at Christmas and then absolutely floods. But for teams when that happens, and I look back to the 2000s team, and we were very aware that things were not good behind the scenes. There were problems within the squad, there was relationships with the manager at the time. It didn't seem good. We're not getting that vibe currently, and I know there are many fans out there that are saying, it's just a positive spin on things and trying to get. But I think genuinely, and I'm sure people have been down to the training ground and been around the squad, they will tell you the atmosphere in the squad with the players and the coaching staff is really good, and surely that is enough to give anyone encouragement that everyone's still fighting, working really, really hard to just turn around this what is a horrendous run of form.
Yeah, I've said the last few games we don't necessarily need to play like 1970 Brazil. We just need a last minute goal off somebody's backside. That will do. It's about results rather than process of how we get there now. But going back to that Premier relegation season, I can think back to those last day fixtures and you looked at Bradford City, home to Liverpool, who needed to win for a place in Europe, and you think, well, that's almost a banker for us. Southampton away, never easy, but you think, well, you know, those two results, surely in some way they would have gone our way, and of course they didn't. So maybe we shouldn't just look at the fixtures and go, well, that's okay and that one isn't. It is still what we do on the pitch.
That's one thing you get towards the back end of the season. You get some freak results at this time of year. So
you do, yeah.
So you can't always bank on the results going our way. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the other point to that was at the time, as I said, we were on this long windless run in the Premier League, and Bradford had picked up, and they'd started winning games. I think the one that always sticks in my head was, well, obviously they beat us, obviously, but they'd been up to Sunderland, who were having a flying season that year with Kevin Phillips and Narquin, and they got a win there, and it just seemed momentum, and I know that's the word people always use, and it's a bit cliche. It is a little bit cliche, so I do apologise, but that is what can happen. So currently at the moment we're seeing the momentum seems to be with the Gillingham, because they're the ones that are on the upward curve. But then you look at us dropping down now, still quite a long way to go. Fleetwood are another one that are just looking like they're dropping, they're going backwards at the time being. So they seem to have come really into the mix. And have we focused our attentions too much on Morecambe and Gillingham and not looked further beyond that? Yeah, I think it's very easy to think, oh, we just need to finish ahead of them. But teams are now so concertina together, you can't just look or let's just pick off Morecambe and then we'll be fine, because we won't be. But I mean, I'm old enough to remember when we went down in '82, and we actually ended the season very well with a couple of wins, but to the extent where we had to win the last game 11-0 to stay up or something. And we won 3-2, I think, and the crowd sang Dave Bassett's name for like 90 minutes during the game. And afterwards, the visiting manager sort of went, I can't believe what your fans have done. He said, if I was in their shoes, they'd have had my head on a stick or something. So, what you said about the sort of training ground vibe, I kind of get that from the players' point of view. And I'd like to see a bit more of the fact that people acknowledge how patient the crowd have been as well, even to the extent of Mark coming out and saying it. I know he said it once or twice, but also the fact that just for him to think, well, at 99% of other clubs, I'd be down the road by now. And I've not really heard him say that in those terms. So I hope that's in his mind as well, as if to say, I'm still here, but I'm in a way quite fortunate still to be here.
I could imagine if Mark does get that win, he'll come out and thank the fans after. I think
I'm sure he will. Yes.
I think the main thing is, you know, it's action. People want action rather than talk at this moment in stage. So, you know, let's hope we get 3 wins.
We all want it.
Cool. Well, Ray, thanks very much for joining us today. You're going to get off now and get into the ground ahead of kickoff. Quick. So you've already said heart versus head.
Heart and head.
But we're going for a draw, perhaps.
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No
Sorry.
No worries. Cool. Ray, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hello. Enjoy the game.
Hello.
Well, it looks like it might actually be working. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 9 Years podcast. Oh, well, no, don't joke with me that we're live. Oh, wow. I'm very sorry, everybody. We were miles away. We were pondering this defeat. I can't talk today. People are just rubbishing it because it's never going to happen. And I'll bet my mortgage, my life, everything I have that Neil Ardley will not go to Notts County.
Interesting.
Apparently they've had 18 stays of
Just need to move on very, very quickly.
I'm glad you're the host and not me. So
all I'm going to say is just, trim this beard very quick, Rob, because if you have got this DNA, you know what's coming. Hair as well, blimey. Anyway, right, so quick one on that advert, by the way. The advert you just saw for the 9 Years podcast was I think, produced by Mark Hendricks, actually, many years ago. The Neil Ardley thing was out. It wasn't in the context when he actually did join Notts County. Can I just say this, please? Okay? There were two completely separate things, years apart. But anyway, he did indeed. In the end, Neil Ardley did indeed signed for Notts County, as did Jake Reeves at one point, but I don't know where he is now. Where's Jake Reeves now? Does anyone know?
Swindon.
Is he at Swindon?
One or the other.
Yeah,
Steve
Evans.
Steve Evans.
I'm sure those two are going to like an absolute house on fire.
Ouch. I'd have Jake Reeves back. Anyway, final minutes before kick-off. Must-win game against Cambridge today. It is 19 games without a win in League One. It is 20 games without a win in all competitions. We've spoken about lineup today, 3-5-2. We've looked at the threats that Cambridge have, and we've also talked just there with Ray about the patience of the fans in the stadium. And it is very true. At many other clubs, a team that has gone so long time without winning would perhaps have changed their manager by now. But a statement came out in the week from the club said we're not going to do that. And this was the AFCW PLC and the Dons Trust Board saying this is not how we're going about things. And they referenced, and it's something that Rob, you brought up earlier, an uncompetitive budget. And I would love to talk to somebody from the Dons Trust Board about this, Stu, at some point, because for me, it's quite a startling admission to say that, I think, publicly, to not say, okay, to come out and say perhaps, okay, we've got the second to last smallest budget.
Yep.
The phrase was uncompetitive, which I think is quite a harsh thing to say. Is that me? Am I reading too much into it?
No, it did surprise me that they came out and say that. And then further down in the same news, it says we're in our best financial position. So it was a bit of a head scratcher on that side of things.
Yeah.
Not going to lie, but I think, you know what? I think Mark Williamson's been getting a lot of stick online. There's no, avoiding that. But at the end of the day, he is only head coach. He's not manager.
So manager on that poster. Just saying.
I think.
Sorry, it does.
No, Nick's thrown me off.
Sorry.
So I think, as Mark Robinson's only head coach, I think they're trying to, shoulder some of the blame, because it's not all Mark Roberts' fault at all. With I've read articles on London News Online, and it's quite clear he didn't really want to lose Ollie Palmer. That's quite clear. And if you look at last season where we had Piggott, Palmer, Dobson, and he wanted to keep Piggott and Dobson, how well he done with them players. And as Ray spoke about, some of our loan signings this season, and some of our signings probably haven't been quite the same calibre.
That is the situation in League One. Currently, Cambridge, as we said there, George, 17th, 12 points away. I think 45 points is enough already, to be honest with you. I don't think we're catching that.
Let's be honest, it's 4 from 6.
It's 4 from 6, yeah, I think so. So we have today, Gillingham also playing today, so what we want to make sure by the end of the day, if nothing else, is that we're no further away from them. And they have a difficult game as well this afternoon, so away at Accrington Stanley, whoever they are. So Ray Armfield said a draw. I think it's going to be a draw based on the statistics. George, would we take a draw at this stage? Is not getting beat more important than winning at this stage?
I think in any other season you'd be saying you need a win, but the form, let's be honest, 5 of that bottom 6 are in rotten form. And like I said, I'll be honest, I think 40 is going to be enough, or maybe not much more than 40. So a draw wouldn't be the end of the world today, but we do need to stop the rot and get a win at some stage. If we get a win today, that's massive. That's 2 points clear of the bottom 4. That's, and 2 points at this stage of the season, with the form everyone else is in, is really big. And especially when you look at the games we'll talk about after the show with the teams who are going to come here later this season, it's, a win would be massive, but I'd take a draw.
Cambridge, as we've said, they've not scored in 4, so you kind of know what's coming there. At least you sort of can feel it coming, but they are. I'm just going to have a look around me to see, because their fans apparently have sold out. But
they've sold out their entire allocation.
There are major traffic problems around Plough Lane today, so maybe there's a few late comers. I don't know. We shall see. But who's going to be? We talked about Cambridge's attacking threats. Sam Cosgrove for me today. I don't want to put pressure on him. He's not really watching now, is he? So, but let's be fair.
He's got it on his phone in the dressing room.
Yeah, they're all watching on the phone in the dressing room. But for me, I think it's a big day for him, because I think he's the right type of player that we need once Ollie Palmer had gone left, in that sort of, as Aaron Press was saying earlier, that big target man, back to goal, bring others into play. I think he can do that job. Hopefully with Derek alongside him today, gives him a bit more opportunity to get players involved.
Yep.
I know Luke McCormick is a big loss, but as you said, Jack Rodoni playing just behind front two, perhaps also get involved. So I'm expecting today, Cosgrove, we need a big game from him.
Yeah, no, we do. We need both. We've got Cosgrove and Derek Hugh, up front today, so it's a good opportunity for both of them. Obviously, if they have Sam Cosgrove up top, you got balls coming in wide from Osu and Lawrence. You got Jack Rodoni just behind, hopefully threading balls through, and he's got a player with a bit of pace to play off. So the game does favour Cosgrove to his strengths from all aspects. So hopefully today is the day where he gets on the score sheet.
We shall see. Right, George is begging to say something, but George, we've got to go. We've got to go. We've got to go because I need to get to my seat. So if you're abroad this afternoon, you can watch on iFollow. Do not forget you can sign up via the AFC Wimbledon website, afcwimbledon.co.uk. Watch the game in all its glory, and we shall be back afterwards, about 5:10, with all the reaction to whatever happens at Plough Lane today. Thank you very much for joining us. Please join us again after the final whistle.